Exactly 1 week ago, Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, and the President of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, were in Cross River State for the groundbreaking ceremony of a special agro-industrial processing zone. By this, Cross River became the second state in the Federation to mark the construction of such a project. The SAPZ aims to tackle food insecurity, enhance local production, and position Nigeria as a food export leader by leveraging Cross River's ports and research assets to boost global trade, reduce food imports, and drive prosperity through the agro-industrialization of crops like cocoa and cassava. We're now being joined by Erasmus Ekpang, the Cross River State Commissioner for Information, to discuss the task of rebuilding the state embarked on by Governor Bassi Otu and what the governor may have done to deserve an automatic ticket for a second term by leaders of the ruling All Progressives Congress in the state. Good day. It's lovely to have you join us on Newsday. Let's begin with the task in itself. Following his ascent to power, how much of a task would you say this was, especially looking at the economy at the time of Cross River State and the welfare of the people, the state of infrastructure, healthcare as well? How much of a task has it been improving on these amenities?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on this program. Yeah. The state, Cross River State, has actually been, a state where a lot needed to be done. With the insertion of Senator Prince Bassi Otu as governor, we tried to, look at a lot of infrastructures down. It was totally down. A lot of things were not too going well with the state. A lot of some insecurity issues, infrastructures, and all that. So when His Excellency came on board, he thought it wise to actually look at, bringing in investors first, trying to cut down the state in terms of security, and at the same time consolidating of his predecessors' achievements and all that, not bringing out new projects. So we started by, getting the economic summit where a lot of investors had bought in. We have the ADP, Rice IIP, and all that had, we're trying to, buy back confidence to the state, bring back trust to the state. So a lot of ongoing renovations in Cross River State, the roads, the library complex that have been down for decades, the Chronicle edifice that has been totally out for almost 20 years is under renovations, government house, the roads, the internal roads, the street lights, traffic lights, a lot to mention, revamping of it, getting back our assets like we had lost out on Tinapa, we had to, get back some of our assets like the Dancer Farm, Tinapa and all that. So it's actually a rebuilding process for Cross River State, and I want to say that it was actually, God's sense, to bring Senator Prince Bassi Otu at the time, Cross River State, knowing that, you recall we lost our oil wells to our sister state, had little or nothing. But we really had to look in to understand that we have a vast land, a lot of, we did a lot of agricultural programs and policies. We do roads, we do soils testing and mapping to understand that Cross River State soils can actually take on any agricultural crop. So there's a lot we're trying to do just to, a kind of revolutionary, just starting Cross River State from the beginning and rebuilding it. So far we have been lucky. In just 4 days, we had like you had said rightly, the SAP launching by His Excellency, the Vice President of the country, where we have the President of the African Development Bank, coming there to even expand, not even just, coming to launch that for us, but to also promise us in terms of healthcare, education, and all that other facilities he's going to, help assist Cross River State. Cross River State is actually open for business. It's actually one of, the hubs. Almost every other investor is coming in to check and all that. So we are really in a rebuilding process, and a lot is ongoing. Even in our health sector, a lot of health centers have been built, general hospitals, our education sectors. We have been able to acquire 1 or 2 universities, the University of Akampa, University of Education and Entrepreneurship in a local government called Akampa, where it was a college of education that has been already approved by the NUC. And then you even have in the security aspect, His Excellency have been able to procure armor tanks, security vehicles worth more than 50. I think not even a knockout you hear in Cross River State or in Calabar. You know, the road networks have been fine, the lighting, everything is fine. We're just in the rebuilding process of Cross River State. And so far, so good, we're doing well. When it comes to even the deep sea port, where His Excellency Ben Ayade had started, initially, we're able to, we actually did the groundbreaking of the geophysical, geotechnical, surveys, where we involved 6 Navy ships, and the work is ongoing and almost done by now. So we're looking at Cross River State in the next 2-3 years. Calabar in particular, where you now, see a state that is very viable on its own, both in agricultural produce, to some extent that will have food sufficiency to even export. Looking at it geographically, we're closer to the Gulf of Guinea, at the same time the Asian areas where we have one of the biggest economies as China's and all that. So it's very interesting for us at this point to be a Cross Riverian, because His Excellency Senator Prince Basedodo has just done some very miracle in Cross River State, where it's very difficult for us to believe that. Even in the aviation sector, we just landed 2 more jets, the Cali Air. We already had 2 existing ones. We just landed 2 more. And then we're about 80% complete with the cargo airport at Obudu and all that. So I think we're on the right track for Cross River State. It's the best time to say you're actually from Cross River State at this moment.
All right. Well, I don't think either of us can say we're from Cross River State, but kudos to you for the progress you've made. Now let's talk about the Balancing Act. Cross River seems to have faced significant revenue challenges. So how is this administration balancing ambitious development projects with fiscal responsibility?
Well, to my understanding now, I think the government has not borrowed a dime yet. We're just trying to pay out some debt. And I want to make you understand that with the confidence we have built in Cross River State, people actually, working to, pay their taxes from MDAs and all that. There's so much confidence. For a state to thrive, you need to actually, the people actually need to see where their tax payers' money is going, and they're actually saying they work. It takes a blind mind not to see what is going on in Cross River State. As I speak, for the past 18 months or thereabout, our IGR had increased from about 22 billion to 46 billion. It's impressive, and where it comes from is from all these payee, most of these MDAs that were not paying tax and all that. There's confidence, because for citizens of Cross River State, once you actually see where your money is going, you see projects ongoing, you see a library that has been dead and out for years, you see a chronicle, where in the South then it was one of the biggest, newspaper outfits in Nigeria, was totally dead and out, totally, kept out for hoodlums and all that, and everything reviving, everything under construction and all that. So people are actually excited to pay that. So we're actually bringing out, people are excited to pay their taxes, a lot of other measures we had used to actually, acquire revenue and all that. Our oil palms estates that were totally down and out, we've had investors, more than 50 investors coming into the state now to see how they can, bring that back. Our quarries, the same thing and all that. So gradually we are getting back our revenues for Cross River State. But the big one is our prayers, is however it is for the country, we need our oil wells back. And I think for now, it's in a stage, and by the grace of God, because the state, Cross River State, is a God state, by the grace of God, we'll get our oil wells back. And by the time we get it back, Cross River State will just be one of those best states you'll ever want to come and, live in. Cross River State for tourism is #1 in Nigeria, in Africa even. So we are really trying to get ourselves back to put this all through. And it only took one man, Senator Prince Basedodo, to bring us back to this, the experience he's had over the long time, gradually taking us to that destiny promised land.
Okay, now let's get into the politics of this. Governor Otu being endorsed for a second term. How would you assess the basis for this decision? Is it based on internal politics, popularity, his work so far? And wouldn't you say 1 year is a little too soon for this to happen? Furthermore, are there any opposing voices with regards to this decision?
Actually, the truth about it is if you do well, it doesn't even take too much for... I've not really had no opposition. Let me even just start by saying that some few days back, the extended caucus of the APC had a meeting. And generally, not just Prince Otu, started with the Mr. President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where the state totally give all supports, even to some other parties, for 2027. by the grace of God, we passed a vote of confidence on Mr. President, and we, Cross River State, are going to deliver him 100%. And then coming back to Senator Prince Basededu, a man that in less than 2 years had touched almost every sector. You need to visit Calabar. You need to come to Cross River State. He has touched almost every sector, and we are doing very, very well. I mean, it would take any other person that just would want to, make some noise or waste money to say he wants to run against a governor like that, who is like a father to everybody. This is a man that could actually go to a pulpit, pray for the state. And apart from that, you're seeing he's working. Most of the culverts, we're talking of roads that some roads have not been visited for 30-something years, that he's doing these roads. He's working so tight. In less than 2 years, imagine him in 8 years. All we pray for him is good life. God should give him life. So I'm totally in support of that as a state, that the APC hierarchy in Cross River State would actually allow him and His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, to try for another 4 years. We're ready to support him. In short, in Cross River State, I tell you the truth, we don't have opposition. I don't think we have opposition. We just have people that could just actually sit down, maybe write on social media. But on ground, when it starts, it was 15 out of 3 in the last election. Imagine what it would look like now. It takes somebody who is just maybe naturally angry, or just somebody who is not just a happy person, to go against Senator Prince Basededu. So we endorse him for second tenure.
All right. Well, Honorable Erasmus Ekpang, Commissioner for Information, Cross River State, we'd like to thank you for your insight and time here on Newsday. Thank you for joining us.